Is Nefty at school?
Camden,
Camden, yes, I'm sorry.
he starts tomorrow.
Okay, good. All right, would everyone please announce their presence and participation in this hearing?
I'm Christine Crupper, and I'm Camden Espada's grandmother and interested party.
Well, and I did want to talk about that at some point, Your Honor. It doesn't need to be today.
Okay.
Respondent Molly Wood appears by Zoom, represented by Will Hartenstein at Kansas Legal Services. I don't believe that Dad is here, but Your Honor might call for Nefty, Mr. Espada.
Has Mr. Espada logged in yet?
He has not, Judge.
Ms. Schaefer, your involvement?
I'm Sydney Schaefer with DCF.
All right, what is DCF's involvement other than working with, I thought Mom was doing some voluntary services.
I actually subpoenaed Ms. Schaefer to be here today, Your Honor.
Okay.
The incident or circumstance that caused this motion to be filed also resulted in 3 DCF reports in as many days, which were handled by Ms. Schaefer. And I thought it would be helpful to have her here as she interviewed the children.
All right. Okay. Well, what's happened is that last time we were here on June the 22nd, 26th, Ms. Wood was being represented by Ms. Hoyle. And frankly, what happened is the court received a report from DC that was, let me find the report here. Submitted so this is 5/6 of 26. That suggested that basically mother should have residential custody due to all of the changes involving Dad and his lack of involvement in domestic conciliation. I believe it was Miss Sherwood.
Yes.
And frankly, Mr. Hartenstein, since you've now replaced Ms. Hoyle, based on what the court had been involved with previously, and knowing the child's position on living with mother, I was reluctant to just quickly change custody back to Mom under all the circumstances that I knew about the case. And so had a discussion, decided to schedule it for trial. Grandma has really been the primary. The problem with this is the parents are about to make Camden a child in need of care consistently in the last year or two, because they both have their positions and they haven't been willing to negotiate or frankly listen to Camden, who's a pretty good kid. So the stability has been in Grandma's house. But Grandma is the maternal grandmother and Mom does not have a relationship with her. In fact, there's some real resentment and issues between them and the rest of Mom's sibling and wife. And I recognize that, but that household and going to Circle School has been the mainstay for Camden. Mom has lived in a camper. Mom has had some legal troubles. There's just different things that have gone on that have hindered the situation to get to where there was a viable parent taking full-time care and responsibility for Camden, and it being in his best interests. And father had kind of stepped up and then frankly fell apart. And I did not know that until we came back to court in June and I had this domestic conciliation report. It was all really kind of rather shocking based on what I thought was happening. Grandma wanted to be involved. I advised her that she was in a party, that I could not do placement direct with her in a custody case where there are two parents that their rights have not been terminated. But I told her there are grandparent rights and you can intervene as a grandparent, because I knew mom wasn't going to consent to her intervening or being considered as part of this case. Mr. Espada, frankly, would have been okay with it, but I accepted the motion to intervene. Now in the interim, frankly, I think what we were actually going to do is final custody orders in this matter got scheduled for trial in person, which I think was appropriate to sort of sort this out, well, hopefully before the school year started. And to no fault of yours, Mr. Hartenstein, but during the course of that June hearing, Ms. Hoyle lost her audio and her participation in the Zoom hearing. And part of the reason I did the Zoom hearing to begin with is Mr. Espada travels all around. He doesn't stay in one place. So I wanted to make sure he showed up as a involved party. And frankly, I basically took the position, we're going to keep the last order entered as custody orders until we have a custody trial. And dad is free to utilize grandma as much as he wants to during his custodial times, is what I decided to do in the interim. And, but he couldn't give full guardianship to grandma and turn Camden completely over to grandma. Because a natural parent takes priority over a third party. It's not best interest. You got to find the parent unfit, and we haven't gotten there at this point. But like I said, I'm not trying to be cute, but it seems like the parents are working towards that half the time. It feels like. Camden is now 16. As far as I know, he's involved in athletics. He goes to school. He's a good kid. He's not a runaway. He hasn't been jailed. He hasn't been put in detention. He isn't a drug addict. He's a good kid. So now we've got the school year going on, and grandma filed an emergency ex parte order for the return of the child to her, which frankly, Ms. Kruper, I couldn't honor, I couldn't sign, I couldn't order. You don't have custody. You don't have custodial rights. Just because I allowed you to intervene does not mean that you have the same standing as the parents do. And if you thought different, you know, I'm sorry. I really have tried to suggest that everybody get attorneys. Father's not going to. It's pretty apparent he didn't appear today. But I really think you ought to have representation for this trial. And, you know, Mr. Hartenstein, we'd have to see how it legally turned out, but I can give, there's no set time that a grandparent visitation, if awarded based on the bond between the grandparent and the child, if there's a finding of a substantial bond, there's no limits to what grandparent visitation can be or look like, to my knowledge.
And
Hang on, there
Sorry.
may be a pattern, there may be customs, but I'm not going to suggest that she can have greater rights than one or the other parent. But I think that she could be awarded potentially substantial time with the child. So the problem is, and then I'll let you speak, is that I went ahead and scheduled this case up so that it could be tried in person on July 28th. And when you had to enter on behalf of Ms. Hoyle, because she left legal services or whatever happened, you had a conflict. So it got set over to September 4th in person. I don't know if 4 hours is enough, but that's what it's, or 3 hours, I guess, 9 to noon is enough, but that's what it got scheduled for a hearing, a custody hearing, so I could make a decision. And in the interim now, school is starting and there apparently is sort of a flare up where I'm being asked to sign emergency orders that I may or may not agree with. I may agree with, but I don't feel like I can legally just ex parte award the police being involved in returning the child to grandmother, which is basically what was, or to petitioner when he's not present and participating.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I
Let me
apologize.
finish,
Okay.
finish, and then I'll let everybody state their corrections to any of the statements that I've made.
Okay,
Last but not least, I got a notice of submission this morning of a domestic conciliation updated report. This is from Dawn Beffert. She's the domestic conciliator, not the mediator, but the domestic conciliator. And she had previously filed a report that the court was considering. But like I said, had a lot of concerns. There's a lot of new information all at once, right before that hearing. This was submitted today to me with no report. So my AA says she can't open the document. So I haven't looked at the report because it's hard for me to look at things the day of and the time of a hearing. But I'm sure there's updates there that are pertinent to this case, but I haven't seen them and haven't read them. And I don't know, Mr. Hartstein, that you've gotten them either. So that's where we stand. And Ms. Kruper, I'm going to let you say something real quick, but I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Hartstein to see, what his beliefs are about kind of where we're at in the case and what's transpired.
So I'll kind of go in reverse order, Your Honor. First, as to the DC recommendation or report, I did actually speak with Miss Buford yesterday. She said she was going to get this report out to us probably first thing this morning. And when I tried to open the email, the file was also blank for me. So there must be something with the way that it's formatted or something. I don't know.
Well,
but
I will tell you
okay.
that I don't even think she's gotten paid or is even getting paid. I think she's trying to do this out of the goodness of her heart, and I don't think both parties have her paid. But be that as it may, go ahead.
My office can. I can eat that, frankly. Oh, she's here.
I am so sorry. Oh my God.
Hi, Dawn.
Well, we can't open your document, so we can't see what you have to say. So I'm just hang on and put yourself on mute, please. Thank you for being here. All right, go ahead.
Well, that being the case, I will not summarize my understanding of Miss Beeford's position because she's here to explain it herself. Then as to the interested party status as well as the proposed grant of parenting time, Your Honor, as I'm sure you're aware, and it's interesting, I actually had to look this up last thing yesterday. They changed the non-parent visitation statute, which has very specific requirements for what the petition needs to contain and explain, which do not exist in Miss Kruper's motion. It needs to be a separate petition. So I guess my first question would be whether or not she's essentially filed an interpleader here, or if Your Honor is actually construing this as a full petition for third party visitation pursuant to 233305 and the rest of them.
I don't think I can. I think
Okay.
I let her enter so that she could appear as a party and be considered
Okay.
and heard from. But she didn't file a motion for grandparent visitation and she's not following the law. And I can't give her legal advice and I can't help that. I may be sympathetic to her, but that's why I didn't that's why I didn't sign the ex parte order.
And
First of all, I don't think I legally could, but even as it goes to visitation, I think there's got to be a motion for visitation and it's got to be heard by the court, and certain findings have to be made by the court. And you're right, the petition has to meet certain, or the motion or the petition for grandparent visitation, however you want to classify it, has to meet certain standards. And if there are new statutory requirements, those have to be met.
Okay. Yeah, I believe that it changed. I'm looking at the statute now. It says 24. I would swear it came into the effect at the beginning of 2026, but regardless, as to the actual current de facto schedule, Your Honor,
Yes.
you've previously noted that Mr. Espada's not here. It is my understanding that he has in fact moved to Iowa and has not meaningfully been exercising his visitation. I know to a certainty that he was incarcerated in Iowa for at least a week. He was anticipating being extradited down to Texas. I believe that that's been resolved on his end. I don't know what's going on today, but that is something that has been going on, which is what resulted in Molly taking care of Camden for that time. Nefty simply has not been around. And I will say for the court, Your Honor, there seems to be an ongoing pattern, just in my limited involvement in this case, of Miss Kruper trying to interfere with Molly's life and parenting time. And I understand that Your Honor is going to take my word with a grain of salt, especially given your experience with this case. But the whole reason that I've bothered to subpoena DCF here is because, again, Grandma chose to make 3 separate DCF reports to try to get the children removed from Ms. Wood's home when this kicked off, Your Honor. And I think that's just emblematic of what we got going on here.
Okay. Well, no, I'm not going to take anything you say with a grain of salt. Let's, I guess you're asking, what is it that is before the court? And I guess the court sua sponte is going to say, I felt like we have an emergency situation here. I need to know what's going on with Camden and where he is. Like I said, I don't want him to end up in a system because adults can't figure out what's best for him and give him a voice as well. So this has been a very difficult case. But if you, I would like to hear from Ms. Beffert, if we may, since we don't have a report, and I would have to read it anyway, so it's probably best to hear from her and let her update us, if that's all right. Mr. Hartenstein.
Sorry, I muted myself. No, certainly, Your Honor, I would be fine with that. Her report will be whatever her report is.
Okay, Ms. Beffert,
Absolutely.
could you go through your report with us and try to resubmit it? No one could open it, so no one's viewed it.
And I am so sorry about that. I did just try and resend that. And like you say, I know you'd have to read through it. It's about 3 pages in length, but
Well, that's
Basi-
not bad.
I'm sorry.
That's not bad, but if you want to put on the record generally,
Sure.
what your findings or recommendations are, or an update for us, that would be great. And then as soon as I can get a hold of your report, I'll read that too.
Absolutely, Your Honor. And I'm gonna pull it up right here so I can kind of see it myself. Excuse me, I apologize here. File. Okay, so basically what I did is immediately following the last court hearing, I believe that was June 22nd. As per your recommendation, I went ahead and scheduled a home visit with Ms. Crupper and with the minor child to be able to communicate with them. I believe you wanted some information regarding Ms. Crupper, just some information about her and the home. It's a 3-bedroom ranch home. You know, it's clean, well organized. Not only does Camden live there, but his half sister also lives in the home, which is also a daughter of Miss Woods. So basically, I talked with Miss Crupper for a while about various types of contact that he has with his dad, Mr. Espada, and she reported that he has regular contact with his father via text, also with his younger half brother Keegan, who also lives with mom. He, of course, has a very close relationship with his half older sister that lives there in the home with Miss Crupper and himself.
How old are these other 2 children?
I believe Addison is 18, if I'm correct. And
That's
Keegan,
correct.
I believe, is 11 or 12, if he has had a recent birthday.
He's about to be 12.
About to be 12. Okay, thank you for sharing that information. So basically, in talking with him, you know, his curfew there, living at the home with Miss Crupper, it's about midnight or 12:30, depending on whatever activities he has going on. He would still attend Circle High School. That's where he has several friends. He's very vested in the school and its culture. He runs track and plays basketball there. He has attended there for basically all of his freshman year and then half of his sophomore year last year. The only time he did not attend was after that April track meet when everything happened, I believe, when Miss Woods was incarcerated. But that being set aside, so he has spent the most of his time frame there at that high school, Circle High School. I know Molly has since just recently moved and has gotten her belongings from Miss Crupper and also from a storage unit that Miss Crupper had put her items in from when she lived with Miss Crupper before, back in 2025 or 2024, I believe it was. And so she came over to the home on July 20th and got those items. So there was a question about a bed and some other items that I believe Miss Crupper's trying to get for her. But the main thing is, I think she's appeared to have good rules for him in the home. He has chores around the home. He wants to be able to stay in that school. He wants to be able to stay at least part-time, half the time living with Miss Crawford, all possible. He loves his mom. He does not want to hurt his mom, but he just feels that the safest and the most stable place for him is Miss Crawford's at this point in time. As you well know, there's an abundant amount of conflict within this family, especially between Miss Cropper and Miss Wood. And I've been told multiple times before that Miss Wood, you know, wanted to limit and not or disallow contact between the minor child and Miss Cropper and her side of the family. However, those are very significant and important people to him. They provide a lot of support. They also provide that emotional support and guidance, and he even refers to his aunt's wife as his second mother. So those are significant relationships and bonds for him as a support system. So I really do believe he needs that. He also was going to be taking driver's ed, and there was some conflict too that Molly apparently wanted him to she wanted to get him into the driving lessons versus Miss Cropper, but Miss Cropper had already done it. So there was some go back and forth, which is not even listed in my report because I don't think it's really important for today. But it's just, it just goes to show the kind of the toxicity and the conflict that they have with one another. So anyway, based upon what I found during that meeting and just what's happened this whole case, you know, I'm recommending in that the parties basically shall have 50-50 custody of their minor child. And it's no surprise that Mr. Espada has not in any way, shape, or form, you know, cared for his child on a long-term basis. He did have Miss Cropper, so at least he has had that stability from Miss Cropper from approximately December 8th through current, until Mr. Espada was incarcerated. So for child residency, I just put in there that upon talking with Mr. Hartenstein yesterday, there's a pending DCF investigation regarding Miss Woods. Again, that has to do with all that conflict with what happened. And I don't know what issues, and I'm sure that she will be able to share for you today what is going on. So my basis for this was that the Conciliator continues to have concerns regarding Miss Wood's ability to care for the minor child's stability and emotional needs, and her ability to place his needs first over hers. So that's one of my concerns that I have. And also, you know, that she has shared before that she does not want him to have any contact with her family. For parenting time, I just recommended Miss Wood's parenting time with the said child should occur at all times when not with scheduled for parenting time with this father. And I realize that the court has that decision to make. School, I really feel strongly that the child should be allowed to continue to enroll in and continue at Circle High School, where he's established in basketball track. He has multiple friends there. He's just well-centered. And this time as a teenager, for him to move, I think would be very, very disruptive and hurtful for him. One of my other bases for this is that the minor child, if he were to live with his mom full time, he's going to be in the Andover School District. So I don't know, to my knowledge, mom does not have a driver's license, and I don't know that she is able to even transport him back and forth to the Andover schools and or even Circle High School. Therapy is still a big issue for me that I am recommending for this family. I truly believe that Miss Woods should enter and successfully complete a substance abuse treatment counseling program. To my knowledge, that has not occurred yet, and maybe there's evidence to the contrary. and I do hope so, but my basis for that is she has a history of 3 alcohol related and or DUI charges. And again, I have no idea if she's completed successfully any counseling or assistance for this problematic drinking that has gotten her into trouble multiple times. I also think it's important for the minor child, for Camden, to be involved in individual therapy with a licensed mental health professional. And again, that's to help the child process through that vast amount of trauma and the conflict that he's been exposed to throughout his life by the choices both of his parents have made, and due to the ongoing conflict between Miss Woods and the rest of the family. I just really feel strongly with that would be important for him. Miss Woods should also enter individual therapy herself with a licensed mental health professional, just to help her address the extremely conflicting relationship with her family. It's almost toxic. I really have difficult describing it any other way when I'm around them, and what how Miss Woods may feel about the other side of the family, her side of the family. So I just really think that would be very helpful for her, just to better understand even the impact that this conflict has, not only on her, because it's detrimental to her, but it's inadvertently putting all of her children in the middle. Because like even with her other child, Addison, that child even lives with grandma. So there is so much going on, and to be able to process through all of that, I think would be very helpful for her. My one of my others is for Miss Woods and the minor child to both enter family therapy, again with a licensed mental health professional, to address those issues which continually affect their parent-child bond. Not only obviously this conflict, but just those choices that mom has made over time, to understand how those choices have impacted Camden, and to understand why he may feel the way he does, and just to help them better communicate and again improve their parent-child bond, and that level of conflict that's going on. And then I would love to see at some point maybe Miss Crupper could join that family therapy group. And I would hope that someday that Miss Woods and Miss Crupper can at least find a place where they can maybe agree to disagree, but at least for the sake of the children, be able to communicate back and forth. Because Miss Crupper and she's had him and caring for him for a while, and because she may still continue to have him during Mr. Espada's parenting time, I think it's important for them to be able to communicate on a much healthier level than what they are doing now. The holiday parenting time schedule, I think that should remain in effect. My last and my really big ask or recommendation for this matter is, even though I understand that this is a domestic court, family court matter, there are so many child welfare issues involved in this matter. And I truly believe that it would be a great benefit to Camden to have a guardian ad litem appointed to represent him in his best interest in this matter. Again, like I said, those child welfare issues, and I totally respect and appreciate the court not wanting to put him into custody, because I think that would just spin his world even more out of control, having had a lot of experience with that system, working in it. So if it's possible that a guardian ad litem in a family court case could be assigned to him, I really do think that would be incredibly beneficial for Camden in this matter. So
Okay,
I'm sorry, I
no,
know that was
that's
very
fine.
long.
Thank you very much. And
Two.
so all of this is contained in your report that you did a notice of submission on, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Hartenstein, do you want to call Ms. Schaefer to testify at this juncture?
Yes, Your Honor. I will just say very briefly, Miss Wood does have a driver's license. I do have a picture of that. It's presently temporary. She's waiting on a little plastic card.
I have my hard copy
Hey,
now.
hey, I'm not gonna tell you this again. Quit interrupting. You can't just speak whenever you want to, okay? He will ask you or I will ask you if we need to verify something, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Hartenstein.
She evidently has her card, Your Honor, so she does have a driver's license. And I'm told that the what I'd characterize as a SAC evaluation is complete. I'm still waiting on the report on that, but I'm told that it's been done. So I would call Ms. Schaefer
Okay.
to the extent that the court needs evidence today.
All right. Would you raise your right hand, please? You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, just a minute here, please. Before we get started. All right, whenever you're ready, Mr. Hartenstein.
Okay, Ms. Schaefer, could you please state your full name?
Sydney Schaefer.
Okay, Ms. Schaefer, you were here when this hearing started, right?
Correct.
You've heard everything that's been said.
Correct.
Okay, do you have any personal knowledge of who these parties are?
Yes.
Okay, what's your, well, how are you employed?
Through DCF in Sedgwick County
Okay, what's your position there?
as child protection specialist.
Okay, were you called out in relation to anything in this case?
No.
You weren't. What's your involvement with this case?
So before I speak about it, I do have to read something real quick.
Right.
The information you seek is confidential and privileged, and I'm authorized to disclose the information only upon an order from the court to do so.
Well, I need some foundation. If you are a worker who is acting in that capacity, and it concerns this child and reports involving this child, I will order you to testify and provide information in that capacity. But if you are not an assigned worker to the case, but just an acquaintance or previously were involved in something, then I probably can't order you to disclose information obtained or that exists in the DCF database. So
So
okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I am involved with the family. My case just didn't come in for Camden. My case was involved with Keegan.
Okay. Well, and that's a different dad. That was a sync case, I think. Is it still open or is it closed?
I'm not sure. My case?
Keegan's case.
I'm not sure.
Okay. And I don't have any jurisdiction over that, and I don't want you to disclose anything about that. I mean, the only thing, Mr. Hartenstein, that I think would be relevant is if mom's officially been found unfit by a court of law, there's a presumption that she's unfit as to all her children. But I'm not aware that her rights have been terminated or she has been found unfit by any judge as
Your Honor,
to her children.
I'm calling Ms. Schaefer based on her personal knowledge of events that took place, I believe, over the weekend. I think I talked to her originally. Wait, hang on. No.
Do you understand though, if she wasn't acting in an official capacity and made a report, she can't access that information and testify about anything else?
I have called her because she was acting in her official capacity with
All right.
DCF, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm not going to order her to disclose what they view as protected information until you lay that foundation so that I know what her involvement is and what she's going to be relying on.
And I intend to lay that foundation, Your
All
Honor.
right, do it.
How do you know these people?
I had a DCF report on Keegan that came in a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago. Was that roughly first of the month?
It was, it came in on July 25th.
Okay. And did you at any point interview Camden?
No, I did not, because he did not feel comfortable speaking with me.
Okay. You put eyes on Camden?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was he happy, healthy?
Yes.
Where physically was he at the time?
Okay, I'm not, if this is part of a record and she's referring to notes, I'm not going to order her to testify.
I'm simply asking about her personal information on this. Ma'am, can you just go off of what you remember?
Yes.
Where did you meet with Camden?
I met with him at Molly's home.
At Miss Wood's home?
Yes.
Okay. What was his general state?
He pretty much just looked at me. He was in his room. He was trying to build stuff for his room. And while I was speaking to Keegan, he had shut his door and he didn't feel comfortable talking to me. So I didn't pressure the issue to have him talk to me.
What was the state of Miss Wood's home?
Her home was clean. She had plenty of food. All of the kids had beds from what I saw. I didn't have any concerns for her home.
Okay. Are you planning on opening any kind of child needed care case? Are you referring this to the district attorney?
No.
Okay. Are there any issues for the physical well-being of anybody in this case?
No.
Okay. That's kind of what I need, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kruper, I've limited her testimony. I'm probably not going to allow you to question her at this point because I don't want to go into areas that I don't feel comfortable that she is authorized to testify about at this juncture.
Okay.
Okay, all right. You're free to go, Ms. Schaefer.
Thank you for being here, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Do you have any additional witnesses that you want to call?
No, Your Honor. I expect that we're still on for 9-4.
Well, I need some assurance that he's enrolled in Circle, that he's going to get there every day. I am not going to authorize him changing schools right now, pending this custody matter. And I need to know where he's at, or frankly, Mr. Hartenstein, I'm going to refer this case to the county attorney's office as a child needed care case so that I can make sure that he is in a good, emotional, stable, ready for school, has his stuff, is going to get there, and is doing okay.
So is Your Honor making specific probable cause findings to that end, or are you asking the county attorney to review it?
I may ask the county attorney to review it if I can't get enough information right now that I feel comfortable with his status. So you might put your client on and tell me what's going on with him.
I would be happy to do that, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Wood, if you'd raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Hartenstein.
Molly, how long has it been since you've seen Camden?
About a week and a half.
Week and a half. Okay,
Yeah.
where was he? When did he first come to you?
The first week in August is when I had him for my scheduled time.
Okay, so week and a half. So you had him for about 30 days?
From my scheduled time till the time he went back because of Nefty being in jail, I had him for like a week and a half.
What? So first week of
Okay.
August to
I don't
Oh,
have a calendar, so
it is presently August. That one's on me.
okay.
How was he the last time you saw him?
Good. Happy?
Had he been eating?
Yeah.
Okay, was he reasonably clean for a 16-year-old?
Yep.
Okay, he showered in the recent past.
Yep.
Okay. Have you spoken with him at all?
Since he's been gone?
Yeah,
No, I have not.
you have not. Okay.
No.
When is your next scheduled visit time?
Saturday.
To your knowledge, where is Camden now?
The last I was told, he was with Nefty.
Okay. Who picked him up?
Nefty's mom.
Nefty's mom. Have you seen Nefty recently?
I have not.
Okay. Do you have any idea if Nefty's actually in town or not?
I do not.
Okay. Have you heard through a grapevine or anything that Camden's doing well or not?
No. Like, I
Okay.
mean, from him, I mean, we talk from him, he's doing fine.
When do you talk?
Most of the time we talk here and there. We have not talked since he's been here.
Okay.
He was extremely stressed about things happening.
Okay. Has he come to you requesting any saying, hey, you know, things aren't okay here at your house?
No.
Okay.
He
I'm sorry,
he-
go on.
He did ask about schooling, and I told him
Okay.
he would still be able to attend Circle. I was not planning on moving him schools.
Okay, so you would you be able to get him to Circle?
Yes.
Okay, you have a license.
Yes.
You have a car.
Yep.
Okay. Your house, are you at your house now?
Yes.
Okay, is the power on?
Yep.
Water running?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any intent to do anything that isn't in Camden's best interests?
I do not.
Are you trying to keep him from his dad?
No.
Are you trying to keep him from his dad's mom?
No.
Okay. Are you trying to keep him away from your own mother if he wants to see her?
With the situation that had happened the past week, I told him that he could have communication with her. I was not comfortable with him going with her or my sister.
Okay. What's your understanding of the situation as it with DCF? What's going on?
Well, they showed up because I had 2 welfare checks done within one day. And
Mhm.
then that was on Sunday. And then Tuesday, DCF showed up. And it was because they had been getting calls for Camden, for Keegan. And they said that there wasn't doing anything. They weren't going to do anything about it.
Okay.
I mean,
So
officers checked my food, talked to the kids. DCF talked to the kids, or Camden, or sorry, Keegan.
but nobody talked to Camden because he didn't want to.
He did not want to talk to DCF. He was irritated.
Mhm.
And like when he went in his room, he shut his door a little hard. He doesn't like being involved, but he did talk to the officers when they showed up at my apartment on Sunday.
Do you feel that he's been placed in the middle of this?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Is that your desire?
No.
Have you tried to keep him out of it best you can?
As best as I can, but when DCF and the law show up, there's not much I can do. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Do you believe that
What was law enforcement there for on Sunday?
What they got phone calls for welfare checks. Christy had called a welfare check in on Camden, and then my daughter called in a welfare check on Keegan, and then there was a DCF call made on Tuesday.
Okay. Do you know what the allegations were? Were the allegations you were drinking or drinking and driving?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right.
They actually the welfare check on Keegan on Sunday, he was at a friend's house while we were getting Camden from my mother in El Dorado. So they actually showed up where he was in Derby. I wasn't even with him when he talked to the officers. I was sitting in front of Christie's house with El Dorado officers getting Camden.
Okay. Have you enrolled him in Circle and paid the fees, and he's got his supplies and a backpack, clothes and shoes and all of that?
He was already enrolled. I am trying to get Camden's stuff or some of his stuff from Christie's house. When it came to getting him his license, I didn't know anything about driver's ed. It was just to simply get him his learners. I still have yet to be able to get his social security card back from Christie. So I myself was not able to go to the social security office and do insurance for him. So I'm assuming Christy did or Nefty did. She sent, Christy emailed me a copy of the insurance card.
All right. So right now you don't have supplies, clothes, shoes, anything for him for school, but he is paid and enrolled and allowed to go tomorrow?
Yes. And he has all of his clothes and shoes and stuff with him at Christy's house.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. Mr. Hartenstein, anything else?
If it needs to be said, Miss Wood, do you believe that your home meets minimum livable standard?
Yes.
Okay, you live there?
Yes.
You're able to live there?
Yes.
Okay, do you work?
I'm disabled.
You're disabled. Okay. Are you able to feed yourself and shower based on the accoutrements that are presently in the home?
Yes.
Does the cooling work?
Yep.
Okay. Nothing further on that ground, Your Honor.
Okay. Amy I've got this, like, this emergency order came to me for return of a child, like, would you sign this kind of thing? And I said, no, set it for hearing. Did she ever file it in the district court? Is it on file?
The motion is filed
Okay.
as of August 3rd, but the order was not filed, no.
Okay. Now it's 10 days later. Okay. All right. So what you're referring to, Mr. Hartenstein, is the Uniform Non-Parent Visitation Act that's been adopted as of July 1.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
And I apologize if I'm interrupting, Your Honor. Please just tell me.
Well, no, you're fine. Tell me what you think the application of, based on the definitions of that apply in this case.
With respect to which thing, Your Honor? I think that find it, 3311 is what I'm looking at, which defines the necessity of a verified petition with specific allegations and findings, or rather specific allegations which may ultimately lead to findings, is a necessary precedent to do anything under Article 33 here, Chapter 33. And certainly, Your Honor, nowhere in this non-parent visitation statute does it award decision-making authority. That is a separate article, Chapter 59, which has not been filed and would not be appropriate to make without a whole new case being put on file.
Well, the first thing I'm looking at is the scope.
07, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay. So as I understand it, this could be a 3305 petition could be filed within a guardianship. A guardianship couldn't be filed within a paternity action, right? This act applies to a proceeding in which a non-parent seeks visitation, including proceedings in which the child has a guardian pursuant to Article 30 of Chapter 59 KSA, or in permanent custodianship in the Sync Code. Which means that it applies here in Chapter 23, in Chapter 59, and Chapter 38, but those don't fit into this. Does Your Honor have a different reading?
No, I mean, the scope excludes certain things. Kids that are part of the Child Indian Welfare Act, kids that are Sync kids, a party who was a foster parent can't come in under this and claim rights. A parent whose rights have been terminated cannot come in as a party to claim relationship and rights. So I don't think it definitely doesn't exclude grandma.
No. I'm not. I'm sorry. Go on.
Being a non-parent, requesting non-parent visitation. And then under 233308, I think the court can make certain findings based on the evidence and information I've received thus far in the case. But I think in order to award her any time herself at all, she does need to file the verified petition under 233311. The court does find that denial of visitation with Ms. Kruper would result in harm to the child, that the child has a substantial relationship with the non-parent maternal grandmother, and that she has been a consistent caretaker, specifically within this last year, through her relationship with father. I'm reserving ruling on an order of visitation to the non-parent with the best interest until a verified petition has been filed and a request for visitation. And then I need to explore this act further, because I don't think it does away with the grandparent visitation.
No, Your Honor, I'm not suggesting
So
that.
I think that that is really kind of wholly separate. I mean, I guess she could enter as a third party who's been a primary caretaker or through grandparent visitation. But I've recognized her with standing in this matter based on the historical relationship. And that she is a biological grandparent. But Ms. Kruper, you're gonna have to consult with an attorney. You're gonna have to read the statutes. You're gonna have to get your requests on file so that they can be part of the custody hearing that's scheduled in September.
Can I speak?
Yes, you may.
So yes, I have called Attorney Jean Levitt, and they are doing their vetting to make sure there's no conflict of interest and all of that. And I am just waiting to get started with her. And can I go on with the other things, or was that just to answer that?
With regard to matters before the court, is there anything that you'd like to say as an interested party?
Yes, so I may have turned this into something that I didn't intend for it to. When I filed the order, the emergency ex parte, when Nefty had been arrested in Iowa on July 29th, I believe, when Molly picked Camden up for her visit on August 1st, she told him that his dad was in jail and he wasn't going to come back to me or to Nefty for his parenting time on Sunday evening. On Sunday, Camden texted me and said, can you pick me up from his friend Cameron's, which is not unusual. I've done that before during Molly's parenting time. So I picked him up. He made me aware of what was going on, and I did not believe that because of the assignment of delegation of parental authority. It says while Nefty is working or for, I believe, personal circumstances. And so I did not believe that he needed to return to Molly until Nefty was out, which, by the way, when he was extradited to Texas, he was immediately released. It was a warrant from a year and a half ago that the paperwork was never filed to drop the charges. So,
yeah, I just don't understand why he's not here today. I can't give him a whole lot of consideration anymore when he can't find the time to participate. It says, well, I'm working. Well, no, you're in jail getting arrested most of the time. I'm working and you're disrupting me by having all these emergency hearings when I'm trying to look out for Camden. So I'm not very happy with him at all.
no,
It doesn't help you much.
I understand. I was just letting you know.
I do.
Okay. So that's why I filed that ex parte was to so that he could be returned, because when on Sunday when she called the El Dorado police to have me return Camden to her, he was incredibly upset. And actually, when I had picked him up on Sunday, we had gone to the El Dorado police and spoken with them about this to see what exactly needed to be done. And Camden was very upset at that time. His hands were shaking. He did text his mother and tell his mother he did not want to go back with her.
So I can't get too far afield.
Okay, sorry.
So where is he staying right now at the moment?
So when Nefty was released on Wednesday the 5th, he called Molly and told him that he was released, or messaged on that app. And she said that she would not return Camden until and unless Nefty picked him up himself. He did not pick up Camden on Friday the 7th. His mother did, simply because he did not want to have any type of
Right, okay.
altercation or scene.
Okay,
So his mother immediately took him to Nefty. Nefty did snap a picture with Camden and himself and send to Molly. So Molly does know that Camden was with him. Then Friday, we all, including one of Camden's other half sisters and his, the Addison that's staying with me and Nefty and Camden, we all had lunch together. And then Camden went and did some things with Nefty. Sunday, again,
If I may, Your Honor, where is Camden?
he's right
Yeah.
here.
With you? In the hearing?
He's in the other room, but he's at my house.
okay. All right, I am going to ask that you ask him to come up front so I can see him and speak to him for a minute.
Okay.
Are you ready to start school?
Yeah.
Do you have everything you need?
I just need a new, we're gonna go get some just pencils and stuff because I don't really know exactly what I need.
Okay,
But we're gonna go get pencils and a backpack today. Cause my backpack just broke the other day. I was just gonna use the same one, but it broke. So I can't.
okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry you've had a lot of stress associated with starting school. I want you to start off with a good year. Do you understand that I need you to spend the time with your mother that she has allocated to her?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you been to her new place? Is that going okay?
Yeah. That's where I stayed.
Okay,
I was with her for a week.
okay. And that's a little better than the camper for you?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have any safety concerns?
No.
Okay. So we have a trial coming up, and I don't really want to take you out of school, but are you wanting, I don't ever do this, frankly, but are you wanting to testify? Are you wanting to provide the court with information? Or do you just want to go to a counselor and provide it through a counselor?
I go to a counselor and provide it to the counselor.
Okay. Was the last time you saw a counselor in Hutchinson?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to say today to the court? I just want to make sure you were okay.
No, I'm okay.
Okay, that's what I care about, that you are okay and you get to start school and be a kid still. You're gonna be a grown-up before you know it. Okay, if you'll go back to your room, I'll finish up this hearing, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Kruper, did you have any intent to keep him from his mother this Saturday when it's her visitation schedule?
No. The only reason I filed that ex parte is because she wasn't going to let Camden come back.
Okay, but you don't have the authority to do that. He has the authority to do it, but you don't.
Nefty, you mean?
I think yes, Nefty could have filed something, but if he was in jail, I'm not gonna honor it. Cause he's gotta be available. So, but I just need you to understand, you need to get with that attorney to understand what you can and can't do in this case. And what you have, I can't give you legal authority that you don't have. But you guys all got me all worked up because there's an emergency situation and I don't know where Camden is and what's going on with them. And then I had to call this special emergency hearing and then we run into due process issues and I have this case scheduled for trial. I wish we would have tried it in July, but we didn't. Some things aren't always within our control, but this is scheduled for September 4th, and I plan to hear the matter. And see what the best legal solution to all this is. And I don't know what that is right now. Because if Nefty is really not doing much, and not answering to the court and not participating, it's going to be very hard for me to continue to give him the level of custody that he's had. It was a stretch when I did it before, and I did it to allow you, frankly, an opportunity to get whatever legal assistance and legal exercise or remedies that you could find available to you. And I knew you were his backup, so Camden would be safe and looked after. But it's a stretch to give him extensive custodial time when he's not in the kind of place where courts like to give 50-50 custody, frankly. So we'll just have to see how this goes. If he wants to get an attorney and participate, he can. If he wants to show up, again, he hasn't been found unfit. He still has a right to participate. He still has a right to represent himself. I'll consider all of the information, the statutory factors, what's in Camden's best interest, but I have to do it within the confines of the law and the case law, the written statutory laws and the interpretation in the case laws, because I have no other choice but to do that, whether I like it or not. I have to work within the confines of the law. Okay?
Yes, again, I apologize for the turning this into something that it shouldn't have been.
Okay. But I did again find out new things about Nefty that are of concern again. And so that's really what created a lot of this, is all of a sudden he's in jail, and mom has a right to say the other parent that's getting this parenting time isn't capable of exercising it. Dad's in jail. He's going state to state, and he can't stay out of jail for some reason. I'm sorry. I'm very disappointed.
Your Honor,
In the things that I have given him previously, and given him the benefit of the doubt, and he's been a disappointment, frankly.
Your Honor, I just wanted to clarify one thing. You've said multiple times that he's in and out of jail. That this is the only time that I'm aware of.
Okay, he wasn't in jail in Iowa. He was just in Iowa.
Correct.
Okay.
He was arrested in Iowa on this time. Yes.
Okay. But they don't usually find people unless they have been involved in something that involved law enforcement and they run a warrant. I mean, I highly doubt they were looking for him. I don't know that for a fact, but the Texas authorities got the Iowa authorities to do a manhunt for him on a 1.5-year warrant. So there was probably something in Iowa, whether it was a traffic ticket or I don't know what, but he had some law enforcement involvement that would have triggered a search for wants and warrants, and that Texas warrant showed up. Are you following me?
Yes, I was just confused because this was the only time I had known that he had been in jail.
Okay. And, I have a lot of cases and a lot of kids, and I care tremendously about what's going on with Camden. But if I've misstated facts on the record, I'm fine with you correcting me. If I haven't kept something straight or I've misstated something, or mischaracterize something. So I do appreciate that clarification. Is there anything else?
The driver's ed class that Miss Beffort had mentioned, it's not a driver's ed class. It was getting his learner's permit.
Okay,
So that was the only thing.
okay. It's amazing how some little misstep gets all misconstrued and everybody gets all riled up over stuff, but yeah, I mean, just follow the law. Everybody follow the law on that learner's permit. Don't let him overextend what he's able to do under the law with that. Keep him safe, and I think he's got to have lots of hours under those learner permits.
50, yes.
Yeah, yeah. But he probably could have done, if he had done all the things he needed to, probably could have done driver's ed this last summer. I would imagine. Isn't he gonna be a junior?
Yes, and yes, he could have.
Okay, all right, but it just didn't work out. Okay, well, you'll have to get him his hours and go from there.
Yep.
Which means everybody's gonna have to make sure they're capable of carting him everywhere he needs to go. Now, I'm not saying he's gotta go over to Derby and hang out with his friends for the weekend or go to Wichita whenever he wants or anything like that. But he's gotta get to school on time, picked up or ride the bus, whichever. If he, I guess he doesn't play football, but anything he's involved in school that he wants to participate in and his grades are good, somebody needs to be getting him there and making his school year the best it can be. And it's kind of started off, I think, a stressful foot for him. And so,
Your Honor,
yes.
can I just ask that any present or future matters be passed to trial? I have got to get to docket.
Oh, yes, I apologize. Yes. Okay. We'll see you at trial. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Molly, I will call you tomorrow.